It is now time for the Shaliach Show with Arkady Hasidovich. Take it away, Arkady.
Thank you all. Erev Tov, good night, South Jersey, and the good people watching us on YouTube. This is the first episode of the self-proclaimed Tonight Shaliach Talk Show, and we're here to celebrate Israel's 72nd birthday and to entertain you with some cheerfully good news from Israel, hilarious guests and comedians. All of them are from South Jersey, and all had some Israeli experiences that are worth sharing. We got hold of Jen Weiss, the CEO of the Federation, with some cheek-flushing Israeli story. Believe it or not, we managed to book Franz from Saturday Night Live, Hanz and Franz, to give us some heavy lifting tips and spirit lifting observations from his recent trip to Israel. And after the cooking class with Yafa Fuchs and Israeli art workshop with Donna Moskowitz, we have an Israeli Kahoot trivia. Think you know Israel? Want to make it interesting? There are prizes, so stay tuned till the end. Also, I have with me my delightful co-host, colleague, and a friend, Charlene Green. Manishma, Charlene.
Beseder, how are you doing tonight?
Well, excited. Obviously, Shlichim are busy people on the Yoms, so
Absolutely.
Excited. All right, Charlene, so let's, first thing first, right? So let's begin with some good news from Israel. You know, some 6 months ago, 6 months after I came to the community from Israel, there was an Israeli election in April 2019. I did a few activities and lectures on that topic, and I thought to myself, wow, what a great opportunity to teach the community about Israel through the lens of politics. I wish, I told myself back then, there were Israeli elections every 6 months.
Careful what you wish for.
No, folks, be careful with your wishes. Since then we had 2 more cycles of elections every 6 months, just like I wished. But the good news, it looks like Israel finally has a government. I'll tell you though, Israel is a small country, but it is going to have a big government. Instead of your typical 20 ministers, there will be 36 ministers. 36. It's a double high, so it's a nice crowd. Of course, Corona, Shmorona. Charlene, have you heard the recent good news from Israel about Corona?
I have not. I would love for you to share it with us.
Well, little do you know, but as of yesterday, it is for the first time that the number of recovered Israelis surpasses the number of the infected citizens.
Wow.
That is why they are considering open early childhood and elementary schools next Sunday. Wow. So if you are a parent, this is the real Independence Day for you, right?
Yeah.
But you know, Israelis were not very good with rules, and sometimes Israelis break the quarantine and do not stay at home. Actually, last week there was an exceptionally large crowd of Israelis near the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. So when the police arrived to kick them out, it turned out that this crowd was none other than the 36 ministers of the new Israeli government. Double high.
Oh my God.
I know. Charlene, tell me, have you ever been to Eilat in Israel?
I have. It's one of my favorite places. I lived on a kibbutz not far from there, about a mile.
Oh, really? Okay. So did you probably visit Eilat?
I did visit Eilat a lot. Yes. It was great. We were
probably hot, right?
Yeah, I got I was fortunate enough to live there in June. It was about 120 degrees. Wow. The desert, so it was from desert to desert. I used to compare notes. My parents are in Las Vegas. We'd call each other every day, and it was remarkably the same. So.
Interesting. Wow. How paths cross. All right. So you might find this Corona tidbit interesting and encouraging. There are currently close to 16,000 infected Israelis. But in the city of Eilat, which is a resort on the Red Sea, there are only 3 cases, just 3 cases. It's probably the So suggestions have been made to evacuate the at-risk elderly population down to Eilat. And I say, you know, throw in some alligators and Disney World, and we got ourselves an Israeli Florida, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because of the heat and the elderly. All right, what else? Charlene, you are quite Zoom savvy person, right?
Yes, as I think we're all becoming every day.
I know. So this would be relevant to you and to all of us using Zoom. We all know how Israelis are technologically advanced. And we also know you can have virtual backgrounds for Zoom, right? Like many of us have. So these backgrounds can also be a video that you can put in a loop. So check out this genius Israeli idea that we all might embrace. Let me share my screen with you.
This is Shaliach Show, cutting to the first clip here. Now we see me. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
See the video?
We see it.
All right, cool. So what you need to do here is you actually take a 15 seconds video of yourself on a Zoom meeting. You know, you're sitting and listening, and nodding and following closely the conversation like typical Zoom. And then you just put it in the loop. Check this out. Voila, meeting attended, right?
we won't give any names, but we somebody
We have to use that one.
Oh my God.
Okay, so while we're at it, let's watch some more inspiring videos from Israel. We all saw these videos from around the world, you know, of wild animals taking over the empty streets, and Israel is no exception. We got our ibexes, I believe that's it's called in Eilat, goats. Check this out. We got jackals in Tel Aviv.
Oh my gosh.
And boars, wild boars in Haifa.
Goodness.
They're taking over.
Wow.
So let's stick to the animal kingdom here. You know, at some stage there was a real curfew in Israel, and you can't even walk your dog. But no problem, we got drones, right? So let's check this out.
Techno music back there.
Hey, dog walkers, you're obsolete now. We got drones.
Innovation Nation.
I know. Okay, let's stay in the nature theme. We've been all busy with Corona and elections, but there's something remarkable going on with Israel's water situation. This winter, we got an unbelievable amount of rain. Look at these rivers. This is Negev Desert.
Oh my gosh, it almost looks like sand.
Yeah, and here, this is not a sea. This is Kinneret. Our formerly drying out Kinneret Lake, it is now overflowing. Look at this. Why? God bless. But not everything is a blessing, though. Unfortunately, the long-forgotten Macarena song, remember in the 90s, I believe, is back in our lives, unfortunately, with an Israeli twist, though. The song is in Hebrew, but I don't think you need a translation for the chorus, so listen carefully.
וכואב לו הגרונה, הוא מדבק לו מתקרב זה סכנונה, יש לו קורונה. אין חברים ההורים לסו צפונה, אין לו כיוון להשיג מריחונה, אין כסף לדלק מכונית למדקונה, יש לו קורונה.
Corona. Okay. Well, speaking of plagues, here's how they managed the Seder this year. in the Israeli city of Ashdod. Aviv Shai, he's a young singer, went ahead and stood in the middle of an empty street, like so, on the Saturday night and began to pray. And within seconds, all residents in the nearby buildings came out onto balconies and joined him. Hope you enjoyed the virtual tour to Israel. And back to South Jersey, tonight we have with us the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Southern New Jersey, Jen Weiss. Jen, ma nishma?
Hi, how's everyone? I'm well, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So Jen, I hear that you're a frequent visitor to Israel. So how many times have you been?
I've been 6 times.
Not bad, not bad. So as a frequent visitor, what would you say you like the most?
There's nothing I don't like. I absolutely love every experience in Israel. It is my happy place. It is a wonderful, fabulous way that I've made lots of memories. I feel blessed to have been as many times as I have been.
Well, you make me nostalgic, what can I say? Now, listen, Jen, my Shaliach show researchers, because you know we have a real production here on the show, so my researchers, they tell me that you had quite an embarrassing Israeli experience that you might indulge us with. So Jen, what went wrong?
So my very first trip to Israel was when I was 16, and it was for my sister's bat mitzvah. And back in the day, everybody took these big family trips to Israel, and there were busloads of families going on these trips. And the kids all got very friendly with one another. And I was 16, and there was a cute boy, and his name was David. And why I still remember that, because this was so embarrassing, it scarred me. David was adorable, and he was, from California. And here he was on this trip with us for 2 weeks. And, I was kind of shy then. And anyway, we were
You
traveling.
were shy?
I was shy back then at 16. Look, I'm blushing just talking about this now. So we were driving from the north to the south, and there was not so many places to stop. This is a long, long time ago, to stop. But there was this weird rest stop kind of thing in the middle of the desert, and it served like Chinese food, and it was cafeteria style. And it's funny, the things you remember. And the kids all went in and got their food and sat together, and then all of our parents got their food, and we were done. And I said, I'm going to go to the ladies' room. And David said, how come girls can't go by themselves to the bathroom? And I said, I can go by myself.
Of course.
Problem number 1. I went to the ladies' room. The door lock was something different than I had ever seen. And I couldn't unlock it. I couldn't get out. Right. And I decided you couldn't crawl under the door. You had to I was thinking, because I wasn't too bright either at 16, that I could jump over. So I stood up on the toilet, and just as I stood up on the toilet, there was something I thought it was a bomb, and it shook the building, and it was this loud boom. And at that point, my foot slipped into the toilet and got stuck in the toilet going the wrong way.
Wait, is this like a script from a bad movie?
No, but I was by myself, and I thought everyone was dead, and I was the only person alive in the middle of this desert, and I now have one foot stuck in a toilet. And my Hebrew wasn't so great. By the way, I took lots of Hebrew classes post this trip so that I would never be in that situation. Scream, shalom, shalom, help, help, right? And there was another boom, and it shook the windows, and it was really loud and scary, and I still couldn't get out. And then my sister came in finally.
Yeah.
She said they took roll call on the buses. I had been in there for what felt like 2 days, but it was probably 2 minutes. And they took roll call and I wasn't there. And where was I? So she was able to get somebody to open the door and let me out. And yeah.
Wow.
And I got on the bus and David and everybody clapped because I couldn't go to the ladies' room by myself. Yeah.
Wow, how the plot thickens. I wouldn't have thought that this will go there. Stuck in the toilet in the middle of the desert. Very romantic.
That is my most embarrassing Israel.
I know.
I've got lots of fabulous Israel stories.
Well, speaking of fabulous stories, I think there's a good vibe here. I think we should do it again when the whole thing is over and we're back in the real world. Let's meet again and hear some more exciting stories. What do you say?
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
So our next celebrity guest is the renowned weightlifting extraordinaire, Franz. You might remember Franz from the Saturday Night Live duo, Hanz and Franz. Let me remind you.
Welcome, everyone. We have now broken the fourth wall here. Okay, we're good.
We're here to pump you up, right? Okay, so we all remember that. So little did you know, but Franz has recently visited Israel and came back with some observations to share with our South Jersey Jewish community. So please.
Welcome to Pompein Up with Franz, the informative training program for the serious weightlifter.
I am Franz, and I am here to pump you up! My South Jersey friends, recently Franz went to Israel and would like to share some very important observations regarding my journey. Oh, feel the burn, I'm getting pumped. The first thing Franz noticed about Israel is they have a lot of Jews over there. Coming from Austria, Franz was not used to this kind of massive Yiddishkeit. But Franz likes the Jewish people very much. Unlike Franz, you Jewish people have not only the big muscles, but also the big brains. The second thing Franz really enjoyed about Israel was the beaches of Tel Aviv. Back in the day, Franz used to get pumped at Venice Beach and then pound a massive protein shake loaded with raw eggs. But Israel is even better. In Tel Aviv, I used to work out right on the beach and flirt with all the beautiful Jewish hotties that walked by, admiring my big muscles. Yeah, kissing my muscles, they're so big. And then afterwards, instead of the protein shake, I'd pound a nice big shawarma loaded with hummus. Yum! Third thing Big Franz noticed about Israel was the terrible traffic. Major bummer. It made Franz so mad that he wanted to crush the esophagus inside the small intestine. The good thing about Israel is it gave Franz an opportunity to work on his spiritual side. So when Franz got stressed in traffic, he chose shalom, not whoop-ass. Fourth, speaking of whoop-ass, Franz learned a lot about the history of Israel's wars. Franz used to think you Jews were a bunch of girly men, but you really do know how to whoop-ass when the need arises. Whether it's the Egyptians, Syrians, Jordanians, or even the Cubans. Yeah, that's right. The Cubans invaded Israel in '73 and got whooped. Look it up. Yeah, last but not least, Franz was very impressed about all the innovations that's going on in Israel. Franz got to visit a company called Mobileye, making the driverless vehicles and meet with the leaders. Wunderbar! Now I can keep my hands on the barbell instead of the steering wheel. So, keep at it, my Jewish chavarim. I am Franz, and I am here to pump you up. But honestly, you Jewish people don't even need to get more pumped up. You're already pumped, so keep doing what you're doing. Now, there's my shawarma. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our own Greg Franz. Yes, his last name is hilariously enough also Franz. Greg Franz is a serious man, a corporate lawyer, father of 4 KA students, and a friend. All right, I'm tuning out now, but I will be back with Israel Kahoot Trivia later on. Right now,